Welcome back, everyone. You probably know, like, you got to love entrepreneurs, right? Here are people who sit around whenever it happens, and all of a sudden, hey, I got an idea. I think I want to pursue this. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of strength of character, and it takes a certain amount of craziness also to be able to pull it off. We're really fortunate right in our community. We have a wonderful place, a community gathers, and we're going to talk about this. It's Common Roots Brewery in South Glens Falls. And joining me today is this person I've been kind of describing to you. This is Bert Weber, who is the patriarch. All right, Bert, I'm going to have to call you patriarch
I'll take it. I'll take it.
of Common Roots Brewing. So first, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. So
Thank you
look,
for having me. Yeah.
let's go back. When did tell me about this? Why did your son Christian, I think your wife Robin, correct, decided you wanted to do this? What happened?
Well, I mean, Christian and I homebrewed together as, in his younger years, I'll say. And then, we certainly enjoyed that time together. My family's from Germany, so beer was always kind of an important part of our celebrations and things we like to do. So, when it seemed very natural that we would homebrew together. And then what I guess I didn't realize is how much Christian really enjoyed the process of it also. I mean, there's a creative art to brewing and there's a science to it. So all of those things really hit on the things he loves to do. So, for me also, but when he went off to college in New Hampshire, he did some apprenticeships at some breweries over there. And so he learned the commercial end of brewing. And when he finished with those things, that's honestly all we talked about. So I knew eventually we were going to have to do something here. So when I retired from teaching, we decided we would put together a business plan, and we would, with my wife's unbelievable encouragement, she was really our cheerleader, and said, "Yes, let's do this. This sounds like a fun idea." So at first I looked at her like, "Really?" But yeah, and we put together a plan and bought that old building in South Glens Falls, and here we are. So
Hey, I'll never forget the day I passed by there commuting, going back and forth down to Saratoga in 2019, when the roads closed off. And I thought to
yeah,
myself, what the hell happened here? And then to find
yeah,
that brewery had burned down. And I know, yeah, I mean, that sent a shockwave, not to mention what it did to you and your family, Bert, but to the
yeah.
whole community. And, people would, when confronted with something like that, a lot of people would walk away. Some people would try to rebuild. And not only did you rebuild, but you dwarfed the business that you had before, put this major enterprise in there. And so let's talk about that. What was that process like?
Well, that our when we bought the old building, Christian and I did all the renovation to it ourselves, and we started with this fairly small operation, and then quickly realized that we had created something very special here, and that the community was coming to us. And part of our ethos when we sat down and had these principles as to why we're starting that. And one of our principles, and we were just looking at them the other day, in fact, was to be part of a community. And so we thought we could, beer brings people together. So we could create this community around beer. And our little tap room became that. And we saw that quite remarkably how much people came to it and enjoyed it. And it became like a meeting place for our community. And we love that part of it. And, we got to know people, got help other organizations, were fundraisers, even in our small brewery at the time. So it became very important to us. And we said, all right, we're onto something here. And people like the beer, which is very important. And so the night of that fire, we actually had broken ground that afternoon on an addition to the old brewery. We're going to put a small addition on a little kitchen and more tap room space. And so, honestly, the business was growing. We had all the fermenters filled. We just sent out some packaged beer. I was feeling pretty good about it. And then I got home about an hour later and got that phone call. And then, came down and as you described very accurately, it was kind of a surrealistic scene to us. I couldn't believe it with my eyes. And, luckily nobody got hurt. Christian got everybody out on time. And, it was kind of unbelievable. But as we watched that, it was like almost an out of body experience, I have to say. I said, what? I can't believe this is happening. What are we going to do? We had 20 employees at the time and we're thinking of, what do we do now? But even before the fire was out, we started getting text messages and people saying about, we have to rally for the roots, they called it. And I was like, what? And, Chris and I are both just like dumbfounded. It's a very humbling experience, honestly, in retrospect, what we went through, and to realize how much how large that community was to us, and how important it was. So it was very emotional. I'm getting a little emotional right now, even thinking about it. But it was a tough time to go through. But honestly, uh, I don't know how else to describe that feeling that we had, that we were so supported, and it was that we meant that much to people. It was really very heartwarming. So.
Oh, I bet it was. You said something before about how, people will rally around beer in the community, and
Yeah.
sometimes on the surface, it almost sounds a little odd there. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, people go to coffee shops and whatever. But think about what happens in Europe. Take a tour through Ireland. Take the tour through Scotland. They're
Sure.
the major meeting places. Oh, I just want to tell our audience, I'm not stopping this down, but Bert happens to be sitting next to a firehouse. So I think we've got the gremlins of the firehouse talking to us. Unless that
Yeah.
becomes really obtrusive, we're not stopping, Bert. Hey,
Okay.
but the reason I asked you that, and thank you for talking about it that way. Anybody who has their heart and soul in their
Hmm.
business, it's surreal if something like that happens and goes wrong. I had flood damage once to one of my businesses, and I'll never forget what that
Yeah.
felt like walking in. And but then you decided to form the foundation in 2020 as a way to start to give back to the community. Uh, I was really, I was really an incredible move there. What prompted that?
Well, I have to say, as we even before the fire, and I'm going to have to give Christian credit on this. He has a a really good vision for this company, Common Roots, and he saw it from the beginning. As once we started to hit our stride and things began to work the way we had hoped, we began to see that we could actually do something more with this business. And he came from the not-for-profit area. He was a director of a not-for-profit up in Lake Placid, the Lake Placid Land Conservancy. And so, he actually saw, and some of the large corporations that we really love, like Patagonia and stuff like that, and that they have an altruistic, philanthropic arm to them too. So we saw that even as our little company, there's more we could do. So that discussion actually happened even before the fire. I honestly, we're struggling to kind of build a company, so that was something we put on the back burner. But after the fire and the reaction to our community and our friends in the brewing community and business community and just everyone, it was just, we realized that now we have to start this foundation. We have to pay this forward somehow. So we formed it in 2020, and sat down with our good friend and lawyer Matt Fuller, and we put together all the necessary documents and filed for it, and we invited people to come and serve on our board. So we have a 12-member board, and it's all volunteers, and so it's been an exciting process to go through, and it's certainly, as Christian has taken over more of the day-to-day operations. I'm more in charge of the foundation as far as kind of making sure that goes the way we want it to, and I can kind of keep us on track that way. So, but we balance each other. He serves on the foundation. I still, obviously, I'm here at the brewery too, 3 or 4 days a week. So.
Yeah, got you. Now, to our viewers, I was reading some things here about Bert, and you funded over $50,000 in grants to local and regional programs, and I want our viewers to know where that money has gone to. Things like the Glens Falls Youth Center, the Tri-County Literacy Center, Waite House, Crandall Park Beautification, Habitat for Humanity of Saratoga, St. Mary's Food Pantry. These are the kinds of organizations. And Bert, I know all these organizations because I interview all the directors from these organizations.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, and the money goes directly in, and I want our viewers to know that too. Not like 10% of it goes someplace, but we're talking about the bulk of this money is going directly into building things like the homeless shelters, disability services, and outdoor recreation, children and families. Those are the things that contribute really to the well-being of a community. And very much like when you go, and anybody who's been to Common Roots knows this. They have this wonderful courtyard area right in the center there. And my wife and my friends and I will go there, and you see all age groups, you see families, you see kids playing games in that little area over there, and also the staff, incredibly friendly, always coming out, mingling with the community, finding out. A lot of people, as you well know, come up and say, "What should I drink?"
Yeah.
You know? So you got your hands full. It's almost be careful what you wish for. But what a wonderful community you've created.
Thank you so much for that. We obviously, after the fire, that was a kind of a kick in the stomach, but it did give us the opportunity to kind of build, a new facility from start. And I'll tell you, it's much easier to design something from start than it is to kind of retrofit like the old building. And but that said, we put a lot of thought into it. We visited a lot of other breweries in our travels, and we always looked at ideas that they were doing, things that we liked, some things we didn't like, obviously. But we brought it back. But there was this ethos we wanted really to project, is that you're welcomed here. We want families and dogs, and it's a place where you can kind of come have a beer and celebrate whatever it is you want to celebrate for that day, and come and be in a place where you feel safe and welcome. So.
Right. Boy, well said, my friend. Hey, I want our viewers to know that we want to make you aware of the Common Roots Brewery Foundation. I think I got that right, Bert?
Just Common Roots Foundation is what we call it.
Common Roots Foundation. Okay, thanks.
Yes.
You can become a member. I think memberships is low. It's like $75 or whatever. And that money goes right into the foundation, goes right to those grants that I was telling you about. And we certainly want to make you aware of it. Tell your friends about the brewery, and the foundation. And do what my wife and I do. Hop in the car, go down there. Are you going to expand so much that they're going to lose that parking lot? Don't lose that parking lot, okay?
No, my goodness, that parking lot was a godsend. It was one of the reasons why we actually bought the building here initially, because it didn't have much parking, but we said, well, there's a big parking ride there, so that'll be helpful if things go well for us. And
well, apparently it has. So, because you got to get there at just the right time, or because that parking lot gets filled up pretty good. So, look, thank you so much for taking the time to fill us in. And, it's a Phoenix Rising story. It really is in a lot of ways. And now that I've talked to you, now I know why. So congratulations to you and your son and your wife. Really nice
so much. And it's very kind of you, and appreciate this opportunity to talk about it, and welcome everybody to come and visit with us and join the foundation. So
you've got it. And I'm going to sneak in just something about the IPA Good Fortune. Okay, I didn't say that, but the IPA Good Fortune. Okay. All right, Bert. You take care.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.